back in the bag again. Whoa, yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Splash City Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Steve Hartman, and today we're talking Karl Anthony Towns, New York Knicks, and the NBA Finals. The Knicks took a commanding 2-0 series lead into tonight's Game 3, and they're riding, I think it's a 13-game playoff win streak at this point, which is nuts. Going back to the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, which we'll talk about later with my guest, Nick Jezerian. New York chasing their first title since 1973. Nick is the biggest Knicks fan I know, your name aptly due to your fandom here, but really excited to have you on because a lot of Timberwolves fans obviously have never experienced NBA Finals. I myself have never been to Madison Square Garden, and I certainly haven't been to an away NBA Finals game as the opponent in a hostile arena. So excited to have you on again, Nick. You're my first back-to-back guest, by the way, 2 shows back-to-back. So what an honor for you.
Yes. I'm lucky. Thank you for having me again. This is great.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. Obviously we talked pickup ball last time, but we had a lot of Knicks discussion in the background, and I'm excited to talk about it. Did not expect them to be up 2-0, to be honest, at this point in the series. So how are you feeling after a 2-0 sweep down in San Antonio?
Yeah, I did not expect to be here either at 2-0, but it feels great. I mean, how else can it feel? It was a little scary at the end of game 2 where they coughed up the lead, but I'm sure every fan base that hasn't won in a long time starts to feel those other emotions start to creep in. Oh, this is how it gets done. And I could start to picture the different endings, but this Knicks team has really proven to be resilient and fight through everything. It's like they've forgotten how to lose. And so feel really good. I think the Spurs are intimidating and scary. So of course, tonight feels like a really must-win game for the Knicks, even though they're up 2-0, in my opinion, just because do not let any doubt creep in. And so if you could just close the door on them tonight, I think it would be incredible. But, I mean, you'd much rather be in the 2-0 position. It feels really great.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, losing 2 at home in NBA Finals is tough for sure. You flew down there, so that's awesome, first of all. What was it like being a Knicks fan in San Antonio? Because honestly, on TV, you couldn't quite tell who was the home team based on the crowd reactions. It was insane.
It was insane. And so I had seen some of the stories and heard about it in Philly, and then even in Cleveland. And I took my son down. He's 16, and we met another friend of mine. And I was debating whether should I wear my stuff? Do I wear my hat? Do I wear my? I think I've been scarred from Philly and Boston experiences, but I did wear it, and I would say it felt like it was a third of the crowd. I would say 25 to 33. Maybe a third of the crowd was Knicks fans. And at times you couldn't tell who they were saying "Let's go" chants to, and it was really incredible and super fun down there. After the game, the hallways were crowded with Knicks fans just singing and chanting. We went out to the Uber line, Knicks fans just fist bumping each other. It felt like a home game. It was really incredible. It was really incredible.
There's something about it being the away team where that camaraderie is like ratcheted up, right? At home, you're surrounded by like-minded people, but when you go to another city and you find that group, like you said, maybe it's 6,000 people or whatever there are Knicks fans, and you're just like, you're even more attached because you're the ones that made the trip, or you're the ones that, stood out, and you got to stick together, right?
Yeah. And, the funny thing was I was so stressed out during game 1 because I'm like, I need them to win this because I'm going to be so stressed out if we're down 1 and I go into game 2. But it worked out really well, and just so much fun. So we went into game 2 with zero expectations because, right, isn't that old adage that you win one game on the road and you steal one on the road and you're good? So we got one.
Yeah.
And they didn't look great to start the game. And the refs, I mean, we'll talk about that, I suppose. But of course, I'm a homer, so I do feel like Brunson's getting beat up pretty bad in the series. That they're allowing him to be really, really, really physical, and I think the Knicks, it took the toll on them in the first quarter, but they just keep fighting and they keep showing up. So it's been super fun. My favorite thing that happened during this game was we had some Spurs fans obviously sitting behind us. It was a good mix. They were really nice fans. And as at the end, Brunson was what, 6 of 23 at the time before he hit that final little jumper that was almost the same exact shot as they hit in game one. And he's dribbling down, the clock's counting down, it's under a minute to go. And you see him dribbling, and the guys behind me start going, it's going to be the same shot. It's going to be the same shot. And then he fades away. He puts the ball up, and I hear the guy behind me just scream, it's the same effing shot every time. Don't you guard him? And so it felt good that one went in for him. But it was really funny because, as a fan, you don't really feel that, right? So to be able to know that we have a player that every other fan base is scared of when he has the ball in the final seconds it's pretty incredible. It's so much fun.
Yeah, he is definitely that. I mean, I think if just as a neutral observer, if it's close in the final 3-4 minutes, you gotta lump the Knicks' chances just because of him. I mean, he just, and it's not just that shot. Like I forget which game it was, but he had that huge play where he tips a rebound out.
Yeah.
And then I think he threw it to
somebody
else.
Bridges passed for that.
Right. Yes. Those are just plays that the Knicks are making that I think as Wolves fan, we saw the Thunder make and the Spurs were making, but the Knicks, Josh Hart and even their star player Brunson make all these little plays and these little hustle plays and everything's challenged. And I think that's just what's been so interesting to watch is how they're not just like, Jalen Brunson hitting all these tough shots and Talon's hitting threes. They're gritty and they do a lot of little things to win basketball games, man.
Well, it's interesting too because I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of Timberwolves. I live in Minneapolis, so a lot of Timberwolves fans that I'm friends with, and we talk about this quite a bit. And the Timberwolves clearly, I would say top 5, definitely top 10 player in the NBA, and Anthony Edwards, but I don't know if they have a legit 2, 3, 4, 5 type option after that, like that plays to their role. Like Julius should be that. Is he a 2? It's really hard to say. Jay McDaniels feels like your 3rd best player, but he's probably the 4th best player on a championship team, maybe. Rudy. I mean, it's a struggle. Like I think you need to. I feel this is the first team I've been able to root for as a basketball fan in the NBA that truly has parts and pieces like 1 through 8 that all play their role. They don't have to overplay their role. And so if they just do what they're supposed to do every single night, it should work out. And so the way this team has been constructed is really pretty incredible. And I hope the Wolves can get there because they are my second favorite, team to root for now, living in Minneapolis. And they have the one thing that is so hard to get, which is that alpha superstar who can get a bucket. But he needs some more pieces around him for sure.
Yeah. More reliable, I would say. And like you said, more like Dante, this is, I mean, not to rehash the last month of podcasts, but like the Dante injury, because he was that guy, right? Like he was the hustle, the heart and soul, which is why he fit so well with that group in New York. But Josh Hart is that as well. And so, and then you get all these guys buying in. And when your star player, Jalen Brunson, is making contested rebound tip out plays, everybody has to follow because that's your leader's doing the little things. I need to do the Carl Anthony Towns does a lot of little things too. And we'll talk more about him later, but I just think they're such a fun team to root for. I typically would avoid rooting for New York teams based on the East Coast bias, but it's pretty, I mean, they're a likable bunch and they play a really fun brand of basketball.
I think it's a moment in time for the Knicks too, because everyone loves there's a phrase "Knicks for clicks" where it's just pundits saying why the Knicks suck, why they're not gonna, their draft picks get panned every year. It's easy to beat up on them, right? And so now they have a team that actually is achieving. I don't know if you'd say overachieving because I do think they have a lot of really, really talented players, but they're still underdogs. They're still going into the series. So many people were picking the Spurs to go and beat them. Even as they were beating Cleveland, people were saying, well, they're going to be the underdog no matter who they play next series. And so I love that they just put their head down and go. And I do think that helps other people root for them too, because when the underdog is winning and they're playing like really beautiful basketball, I think.
Mhm.
Like you probably saw that clip going around where there was just like Brunson gets in the lane, kicks it to the corner, someone drives in the middle, kicks, just like unbelievable ball movement that's going on right now is it's easy for a basketball fan to like to
Yeah,
watch.
absolutely. Absolutely. Um, so they're up 2-0. Like you said earlier, like you're happy with a split. I feel like that is not championship mentality, which is what makes the
Yeah.
Knicks winning game 2 so much more impressive because like if you're not in there to win every game to,
Yep.
what do they say, put the boot on the throat type of, then you're not a championship team. And so
Yeah.
like the fact that they did that, they go up 2-0. Now you're going back to Madison Square Garden. You were there. It was game 1 of Eastern Conference Finals.
Yes.
Um, it's on my bucket list. I've never been there. Big East
Next year,
tournament
let's
is
do
on
it.
Big East tournament is definitely on my radar at one of these years. But tell those of us who love basketball, what is the Mecca like? What is it at the world's most famous arena? What's that like?
So I suffered through many, many years of bad teams. And even when they were bad teams in the fourth quarter, if it was a close game, like it was a raucous place. Like Nick, the
Mm-hmm.
fans just love good basketball. And they would acknowledge too, right? If like, Kobe would come in and drop 40 or something like that, they're oohing and eyeing. They just love the like craft and sport of basketball. Like you can't walk 2 blocks without seeing a basketball court for the most part in
Yeah.
New York City. So it's like part of the DNA of the city. But now that they're good, it is just unbelievable. And so I was fortunate. I got to go to that game. That was the game they came down from 22 points with like 7 minutes to go or something like that. And it was looking really bad, and you were getting really nervous. And my son asked me when I got home how many people left. I was like nobody. There wasn't one soul that left. It was quiet, and people were down. I remember there were 3 Cavs fans that I could see sitting, because we were more in the upper deck. 3 Cavs fans I could see sitting in the lower row, getting up and dancing to the music. 7 minutes later, they were nowhere to be found. There was a sea of, Knicks fans yelling and dancing, but
Yeah.
it was incredible. And you talk about Brunson, that was where I've never felt like this before, and that's why I love this team too. Is when they cut it to 17 with like 6 minutes to go, and I thought, is this going to happen?
Yeah.
Because there's just certain moments when Brunson hits a shot or two, you're thinking like, okay, this is like elite shot making, like this is going to start to happen. And they didn't have an answer for him, and he reeled off what was like 18-point run or something almost by himself. It was just unbelievable, and it just got louder and louder and louder, and it's just it's such an incredible experience and vibe. Everyone's hugging each other and jumping, and it's just you can't even hear yourself think. But the fun thing is, I've been able to go to a couple of playoff games the last few years. If you get there early, people are shooting around, and
Mm.
it's an hour before the game, and they're doing Knicks chants, and they're chanting the players' names that are on the court. It's just like such a lively vibe. It's super super fun. The city is like electric when it's
Yeah.
when the Knicks are good.
Have you been there for non-Knicks games?
I've been there for college games to
Okay.
Madison Square
St.
Garden.
Yeah, St.
Yeah.
John's. St. John's
Yeah, St.
games.
John. Yeah, so I'm a big St. John's fan. Also, I'm from New York originally, so I'm a big St.
Yeah.
John's fan. So yeah, I got to see. And those tickets were much easier to get because they didn't always fill. They don't fill the arena really.
Yeah.
But I got to see my favorite. Got to see Ron Artest. That those St. John's
Okay.
amazing. But yeah, so it's good. But when the Knicks are in town, it's just a different level.
Right, right. Yeah, it's on the bucket list. Like I said, Madison Square Garden, game 3 tonight. Let's talk about Towns a little bit because I
Yeah,
mean, there was kind of a love-hate relationship with him here. People appreciated some of the things he did. Obviously, the last year he was here, they go to the Western Conference Finals. He defends Durant, he defends Jokic,
yeah,
really well, and overall, just didn't play great in that Mavs series. And so I think from then people kind of were like, well,
yeah,
is he really going to be the second best player on a championship team, or can he, do the things necessary? He's been, I mean, by all accounts, a great guy. Like nobody ever chastised his effort or anything like that,
yeah.
but the endless charges, out of control drives, things like that, wore on fans. How is he being received by Knicks fans? Obviously, right now it's all good, but like middle of the year, what was kind of the perception and thought around Towns?
Yeah, well, it's easy to forget it right now, but if I think the first year and a half of the 2 years he's been in New York, it was a love-hate relationship too. I think we saw a lot of the things. You could see the unlimited potential, the shooting ability, the passing ability, unbelievable rebounder. But a lot of those, plays where you're thinking just stay focused, get your head in the game, don't argue with refs. A lot of arguing with
Yeah.
refs. And so it was a little bit of a love hate. Now, I have to be honest, after watching him closely, because I was living in Minneapolis at the time when the trade happened, or still am, but at the time of the trade, I was not happy with it as a Knicks fan because I love
Mm.
Dante. I thought Dante, I love dudes that are going to get after every ball, fearless. I thought his shooting helped really space the floor for Jalen Brunson. And I thought Cat needed the ball to be really effective, like in his hands quite a bit. But something happened in the last probably month or two of the season into the playoffs where Cat has everyone's saying that he's bought in, like that's sort of the narrative. Like all of a sudden he's bought in that he doesn't have to, shoot 20 times a game to be really effective. But
Yeah.
I heard something Sam Mitchell said on NBA radio this week that I think really hit home, which was he said that he was one of the few people that never criticized Cat's defense. He thought Cat needed the ball and to touch the ball in order to be like truly engaged on both sides of the floor. And so whatever changed where they started running more offense through him, allowing him to make decisions, his shot totals went down significantly, but his impact went up immensely. And so I think that's part of it is he feels like a critical component. I think he's someone who really feeds off being valued. And I think New York loves him to death right now. Like he's just doing it. New York, that's one thing about New Yorkers. I think you miss shots, it sucks. But effort and attitude
Hmm.
is what I think people can thrive on. So if you're doing the right things, you're playing hard, you're leaving it out there, then people get behind you 100%. And I think that's what Cat's doing right now. He's playing incredibly. His drives are more under control. His defense is really good. His passing's unbelievable.
Yep.
And he's shooting 12 shots a game, and like everyone's walking away saying that guy dominated the game. It's pretty
Yeah.
pretty wild.
It is like the post game stuff too. Even like Chuck and Shaq, who are
Yeah,
notoriously not fans of
yeah,
Towns, have been praising him. And it's right. You're right. I mean, the efficiency is crazy. Looks like he's shooting 56% from the field. Like you
yep,
said, not shooting a ton, but making shots. Like I think he was like 8 of 13 one of the games.
yep,
But just yes, I think everyone kind of always knew he was a great passing big man. Like he's just very skilled.
yeah,
But you're right, like facilitating and taking some of that pressure off Brunson, early where he can catch it out on the perimeter and turn it face because he can shoot it. So you have to respect him. And it just opens up the back of the floor for Anunoby and Hart and Cutting and,
yep,
the dribble handoffs and stuff that they can run with Brunson and him. And this, I think, is such a unique problem that they present to the Spurs where it's what everybody's been saying for the last 2 series is you have to pull Wemby out of the paint
yep,
and they can, but the difference is the Towns can guard Wemby as well. It's not
yes,
just a one-way street. I mean, he's
yes.
pulling him out and then he's able to defend him. He's quick enough. He's just big enough to deter shots. But yeah, he's been awesome. I mean, he is right now, would you say, the MVP of the finals so far through
Yeah,
2 games?
100%. I think it's
Yep.
not even a question. His on-off splits, if you look at the Knicks on-off splits, they're just unreal. And their
Hmm.
defense is like significantly better with him on the floor too, which is really remarkable to see. But yeah, he has to be the MVP right now. I do think Brunson's like a Brunson burner game away from
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think he'd be the sentimental favorite. Um, but I was talking about this with a friend the other day that it's a great problem to have, but man, in my heart of hearts, because Brunson really built this thing, I would love for him to be Finals MVP. Like it doesn't matter, right? KD was Finals MVP. Iguodala was Finals MVP. Everyone knew it was Curry's team, and so
Yeah.
I think that's the same thing here. I think Cat, yes, definitely the Finals MVP. And the difference is too, it's interesting because they've been beating people in different ways. In the Cavs series, he could just stand at the top and he was throwing the ball over everybody. And in this series, he can't do the same thing against Wemby. So I think they're like adjusting, and he's playing in a different way where he's taking people off the dribble and going to the hole. And if they ever switch and he gets a castle on him, this is something that's new for me with Cat too. I was always frustrated that I remember watching a game where Marcus Smart, who's I know he's a great defender, boys, he's 6'4", would like
Yeah.
push Cat off the block and he couldn't get position. And now I don't see that happening. Like he sees a little guy on him and it's like mouse in the house, like give me the ball, let's go. And that's really awesome and incredible to see. So um he's really really impactful. The other thing I think I would just add about Cat is um if you try to shut Cat or Brunson down, the other Knicks are reliable scorers. So if you shut Ant down, you have to hope that one of those guys has a career night. But I think if you shut Brunson down or if you shut Cat down, you have like OG can drop 20 on you any night, Bridges at
Hmm.
20 any given night. Hart, when he actually is not afraid to shoot the ball, could drop 15 to 20 a night. Um, it's pretty well rounded team.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for Wolves fans, you know, the comp in that is Jaden should be OG. Like essentially
Yes.
that's what you're
Yeah.
hoping. He's a 6'8", 6'9" long defender who can. It's just Jaden hasn't always been the most reliable, consistent shooter. Like he, for most of the year, shot over 40% from three, and then he just completely went in the tank in the playoffs and struggled
Yeah.
from three, and that hurt him a lot. But um,
And
yeah, I mean that's the thing. They all kind of know their role and they play off each other. They have continuity, which isn't always common in the NBA either. Like they have some real continuity, and it's just um, it's fun to watch. Off the bench, Robinson, like he's a guy that I've kind of advocated for,
yeah,
but he's playing the Cornet minutes, so it's not
yeah,
like he has to come in and this is again going back to the Wolves series against the Spurs. It was like this weird matchup where you had Rudy out there with Wemby, and then after that they tried to match him with Cornet, but your minutes now the Knicks have a shooting big man in the Wemby minutes, which is what you needed, and that's why I think a lot of fans were frustrated they wouldn't start Nas in the playoffs, even though that was obviously the move you had to make.
yeah, yeah,
And the Knicks they have that and they have enough shooting and they have enough depth. And
yeah,
I think the biggest thing to me though is Brunson, because those guards don't bother him. I mean, they're really good defenders. They're physical. There's Harper and Castle,
yeah,
even Vassell. I mean, they're just great defenders all over. And it doesn't matter to Brunson. He gets to his spot. He
yep,
plays off 2 feet. He shot fakes. He pivots. He does everything he needs to do, and he still makes the toughest shots you can imagine. And
yeah,
so, yeah, the shooting numbers percentage-wise aren't great, but
yeah.
with
But
him,
he
it's
draws.
just, can you get me to the fourth quarter, baby?
Yeah, well, and to your point, like the gravity of Brunson is what really matters. And so, do you remember they used to call him the Iverson assist, where it's like he'd just drive and take on two or three guys and put it on the glass, and the big man would get it, like Theo Radcliffe, somebody would get it and like just slam it down.
Yeah.
There's an element of that. Like Brunson, they're trying to take Brunson away, so they're doubling him at any given time. They're switching everything and like really blasting towards him. Um, and so it's creating for other people even when they're doing that.
Hmm.
And we actually had this conversation with like in the fourth quarter the other day. Everyone was saying we should be running all the offense through Cat more. The way those guards are playing and pressuring the ball, it's not that easy to just hand the ball to Cat. It's not like you're
Yeah.
getting into half court unmolested. The Spurs are playing really physical defense and making it
Hmm.
difficult to move the ball. And so having a guy like Brunson who's calm under that is really really critical. But I am waiting for one of his games because he's a really efficient player, and seeing
Yeah.
him shoot 19 to 56 so far is kind of shocking.
Yeah. The Iverson assist thing is huge too, like you said, because Wemby's out there blocking, trying to block every
Yeah,
shot. And it's what happens when Josh Hart gets 15 rebounds, right? Like,
yeah,
again, OG and Hart are going to attack the glass, and that's what they're out there to do. So if your shot blockers vacating the area, you have to punish the Spurs, and the
yeah,
Knicks are able to do it just mostly with effort, but they have the guys that want to do that kind of stuff.
yep,
And I think what we saw with some of these other teams is, I think OKC did has some guys like that as well, but the Wolves kind of lack that junkyard dog mentality from multiple guys. They have it with Dante,
Yep.
Jaden at times, but not consistently enough like the Knicks guys do. And I think that's just, you talked about this before we started, but how the team was built. Like
Yeah.
it just, none of these starters, at least, were drafted by the Knicks, but they brought in these pieces that just fit so nicely together.
Yeah. 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 I feel like, if you go back and look at the time of the trade, at the time of the acquisition, I can't really think of one where everyone thought, oh my God, that is unbelievable acquisition. Cat, there was
Yeah.
questions about Cat. When we got Josh
Even,
Hart, it was for Cam Reddish, who still had an NBA future at the time,
yeah.
potentially. So it was a bit of a gamble. No one really thought much of that one. Mikal Bridges, everyone talks about the 5 picks that they gave up for him.
Yep.
Brunson, many people panned that and said that we overpaid
Yep.
significantly for backup point guard. Who else? Landry Shamet was a journeyman.
Yeah.
Deuce, second round pick.
Yep.
Mitch, second round pick. It's really been impressive to see them develop. And I think we have to give credit to Tibbs too. That's one of the things a lot of New York fans are talking about too, is like Tibbs may not get us to championship, but he built the culture and
Yeah.
he helped bring us to this place, which is pretty incredible. So, um,
I,
Leon Rose, man, like incredible team building.
if you're going to give credit to Tibbs, you might have to give credit to Jay Wright at Villanova as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, they tried to hire him. Like I think they were trying to interview him and hire him, but he
Yeah.
wasn't interested. But yeah, I mean, it's incredible talking about that too. A lot of people talk about Jalen Brunson, the way he's so effective is because he plays off of 2 feet. And I don't know if you ever heard Jalen Brunson talk about or Dante talk about practices at Villanova where they would just
It's the best.
entire practices just working on like pivoting.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
so attention to detail is just
Yep.
so critical and important. It's really good.
Jay Wright became one of my favorite college coaches, and it was
Yeah.
because of how his teams play under control. I mean, another guy I would love to see the Wolves maybe look at is Colin Gillespie. Like, there's
Yeah.
just guys like that that know how to play, and it's tough teaching young kids right now to do that stuff. They think the jump stops are boring. They think the pivoting is boring, and all this stuff. And man, you watch an NBA game and the elite players, teams, like, again, Josh Hart, is he a top 50 NBA player? No, but
No.
he's going to help you win a title, man. And
Yep.
guys like that just matter so much, and it's fun to watch. And yeah, the other one that I was going to ask you about is Mike Brown,
Oh yeah.
because, been an NBA coach before, Mike Woodson,
Well,
right?
Mike Woods. No, Mike, the
No,
current coach, Mike Brown.
Mike Brown. Sorry, I was
Yeah.
getting my mics mixed up.
Yeah.
But like, he was another one where you're kind of like, this guy's just hopping job to
Yeah.
job, and like he hasn't. I mean, he got Cleveland to the finals, but I know that that's LeBron more than anything. What's been the Knicks fan perspective of Mike Brown and the job he's done? Because I honestly did not know that he would be able to coach a team to the NBA finals like this.
I don't think we did either, to be honest with you. I think there was a love affair in the beginning because when the Knicks came out for the first, I think, month and a half or 2 months of the season, they were the most efficient and prolific offense in the NBA. And then they went into a really deep lull, and they had this like 2-9 stretch in the middle of the season. That the low point was the like blowout loss on Christmas. Was it Christmas? No, Martin Luther King Day to Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
That just, we thought, what are we doing here? And then,
Yeah.
and then they started turning around and they started blowing teams out. And so then people started to like Mike Brown a little bit more, but there was a lot of questions, and he couldn't figure out how to get Cat and Brunson to work really well together until the last month or two of the season. He was experimenting a lot. It's all paying off now. And I do think there was a moment in the Atlanta Hawks series because I think his substitutions, I think he outsmarted himself a little bit in game 2 and 3 when they lost. We coughed the leads up. But since then he's been absolutely incredible. One of the things I love about him is the self-deprecation and accountability he has. Like whenever he talks about Cat, he just talks about, I needed to change, I needed to adjust to the player and like what he can do. And I think players really admire and like that a lot. So I have a friend who lives in Oakland. He's a massive Golden State Warrior fan. And he texts me all the time just to say, Mike Brown, I know he's an assistant here, but he was like a revered figure out in Oakland. So I think we got a really good one. And if you look at his track record too, I don't know enough about it, but I believe he might have fallen victim to some player, dissent potentially, right? Like he coached LeBron for a bit. Sounded like he and De'Aaron Fox didn't like necessarily see eye to eye, but the work that he
Yeah.
did with those teams was really pretty strong. So he's also got a mature team now. He's got like the I think I looked at it the other day. I think the top seven-ish players for the Knicks are all within the age of like 28 to 30, 31. So
Yeah.
they're all ready. Like they're ready to win now. They're like, let's so I think the maturity of his team probably helps him to be successful also.
Yeah. It's always tough, I feel like, in the NBA a little bit. Like, there's just so much talent. Like, how much is the players or the coach? And, you can
Yeah.
nitpick timeouts called or, lineup changes or something. But, when things click, you got to give credit to the coach because, like
Yeah.
he said, when you're willing to let go of your ego
Yeah.
and make it work, and it does, like, I think that's a kudos to him because there's a lot of hard-headed, stubborn coaches.
Yeah.
You mentioned Tibbs, like there's one of
Yeah.
them. But there's a lot of ways to do it, and so it's cool. I think a lot of people are really just it's fun. Like, whether you're a Knicks fan or not, it's been a fun to watch them. Um,
Yeah.
I honestly thought last year was kind of the year like they had the chance, and then the crazy Halliburton shot
Yeah.
against them that went 30 feet in the air, and they lose that
Yeah.
series. And the Pacers were just on a heater. This year, I think their expectations might be dropped a little bit,
Yeah.
at least in my mind. But this is kind of what we thought, or at least what I thought, like the Knicks' potential was last year. Just took
Yep.
a year longer, but now they're here and 2 wins away from an NBA title. That's got to sound pretty good, man.
It sounds incredible. And I agree with you. The inconsistency this year, they earned the doubt, I think, going into the playoffs, but the way that they've showed up has been incredible. And I do think that Halliburton loss, with the big bounce in the air, that just like after they coughed up that lead, I think that you see that sometimes now, right? Like old Knicks teams would have probably had that haunting their vision in game two recently.
Mm.
And instead they're like, we're winning this game. We're going to go out and get this game. So I think there's an urgency. I saw it in Mikal Bridges. I don't know if you saw his post game interview. It was so awesome. So he had a great game too. And like they won the game and they interview him immediately after. And he's still got this like serious, intense face on, and he's like shaking. He can't stand still. And they're asking him about it. And all he kept saying was like, I got to be better in the fourth quarter. I got to be better in the fourth quarter. And you're like, you're up 2-0. You just stole 2 games in San Antonio. And all you're thinking about is like, I'm going to be better in the next game. You're like, like, just inject that into a fan's veins. You're like, let's go. Like, no
That's
one's
that's
happy.
the championship pedigree that I was
Yeah.
saying earlier about not being happy with 1 win either. Now you're not happy with 2. Like,
Yeah.
that's how it is. Like, I always tell my teams, I don't care wins and losses. I care how we play. So if we win and I didn't feel like we played well enough, that's
Yeah.
not good enough. The standard is set, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's so great. And the other thing you think about, there's so many little interesting, great stories too. Like in game one, you feel like a scarred fan base because I'm also a Jets fan, which is
Ooh,
equally painful. And so
yeah,
when Brunson in the first like quarter hurt his knee when
yeah,
Harrison Barnes flopped into his knee, and then like later he got his ankle rolled by Cornette or whatever it was. And I
yeah,
know they're incidental plays; it just
yeah.
happens. And you're like, oh my god, is this how it ends? And then like he just comes back out. You don't even hear about it. Like he's probably hurting pretty bad, right? And he's still like fighting through everything. And so it's so cool to see all that stuff, and it's fun. You have a team you could root for 1 through like, I mean, down to 12, 10, all of the guys. I just love them all.
Brunson's resurrecting the Willis Reed game every night from now on,
Yeah,
I think.
basically. He basically is. Yeah. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, I don't know. So there's a legendary Walt Clyde Frazier is like a legendary Knicks announcer. And
Yeah.
he's been comparing. He keeps saying like he's one of those announcers. That's a great announcer because he's a homer, but he's willing to tell the team when they're not good, right? And what they have to do better. And so he's pretty honest. And he's just over the moon about this team, saying that it reminds him of his championship teams, which is pretty high praise. So it's pretty cool to see.
So there's some rumors of dignitaries being at the game tonight. Will Phil Jackson make a trip to New York for this?
I'd like to see Oakley before Phil Jackson. I'll tell you that.
Oakley, okay.
Yeah, Oakley. I'd like to see Oakley mend with the New York Knicks.
The Bulls Knicks series were too much. You can't get over the Phil Jackson.
Well, let's see how prescient this is too, because I feel like I'm a little bit worried about the dignitary, quote unquote, showing up at Madison Square Garden too, because I don't know if you've heard. So it sounds like it's a disaster with security, and so all there's a chance if Knicks fans don't get in because of heightened security that maybe the tip-off doesn't have a full stadium, or the Spurs bus isn't going to be driving in past the madness of that watch party that's out on 33rd Street, which is just incredible and intimidating, and all of those things. And so I hope it doesn't impact the home court advantage, but it's pretty remarkable that we're even here to be thinking about that right now.
I am now starting to realize why you went to San Antonio, because these prices at MSG are
significantly
out of control. Yeah, you could fly you and your son down there, pay for your tickets, and it still wouldn't be as much as one ticket probably into the game in New York.
Not even close. Even close. I could have brought like all of our team from Saturday mornings probably, and hotels were cheap. San Antonio is a cool town, and the thing about this series too is if we weren't outside of this series, the Spurs backcourt is my favorite backcourt to watch in the NBA right now, other than the Knicks. I love Steph Castle. I loved him at UConn.
Mm-hmm.
I love Dylan Harper. I think he's so smooth and really good player. They're tough. They're going to be here for a long time, but
Don't remind me.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Well,
I know.
We were talking about the Knicks thing, like the season, and how like there's a progression of you next year you overcome adversity. Like every year has been a further step for them so far. That's what I thought the Wolves were going to do this year. I was hoping they were going to come into the season saying, okay, we've tasted the Western Conference Finals and we haven't gotten far enough. But they don't take the regular season seriously enough. And I think the regular season either has to be you come out and you win like 65 games and show everybody who's the alpha, or you experiment all year. And I don't really think either thing happened with the Wolves. And so I think that's something I hope that they do next year.
That's why they're not a serious team. Yeah. That's why, honestly, that's not talent. It's because they don't have that. Everything we talked about with the Knicks, even the Spurs and the Thunder, to me, they play a way that is championship caliber, that you are there, you are winning games. You are not just giving away a random January game, because what you're going to do in the playoffs is you're going to give away a random game in the playoffs, and you can't do that. And not if you're serious. And I think it starts at the top with Ant. There's too many no-shows for him in the regular season, especially defensively. But it's the whole group, outside of, I would honestly say Rudy and Dante were the only two that were consistently giving effort. And Rudy's tough because he only plays one end of the court. Yeah. And so when you give zero on offense, you have to be elite defensively. And, if he has a bad game defensively, then he's just almost unplayable. But, there's just too many nights of that. And, all of this being said, if the Wolves are fully healthy, they're probably going 7 games with the Spurs team that is in the NBA Finals too. But
well, the Spurs won 7 games with the Thunder, but the Thunder were missing their second best player. Yeah, a top 6 rotation guy, 7 rotation guy, and AJ Mitchell. Yep. And so I think that's another thing. But
it is that's the playoffs. There's a little luck involved with that, right?
Oh 100%. Yeah.
You got to be healthy, and they're young, and maybe that's why they are healthy. But man, every time Wemby hits the deck, I think he looks like a deer that's going to break his leg. A deer on ice, he's gangly, he's got limbs flying everywhere, and you're just like, man, he's going to get hurt someday, and it's not going to be.
Speaking of that, watch this tonight. My homer perception is that every time Wemby sets a pick, you can see his long, gangly arms just like shoving somebody. Yeah, every single time.
I don't know when that stopped being called, but to me that I don't understand that. But sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. Okay, so we're in agreement here. So that and Dylan Harper, man, his defense on Brunson is physical as hell. Like it's a guy in the like the pickup game where you're like, I don't even want to play anymore if you're going to guard me like that. Like that kind of defense. Um, but I feel like Brunson's taking the hits, but I do think that he's getting away with some stuff there also that I
Yeah.
would love. I feel like if although maybe now it won't be as bad if like depending on what the crowds are like outside. I was saying in San Antonio that if the refs ref that game in New York like they did in San Antonio, I don't know if the refs get out of Madison Square Garden alive. We'll see how that
Uh,
we'll see
they'll
how
have to
that
put
goes.
Scott Foster on I haven't even seen who the refs are tonight, but
The
you know,
extender.
yeah,
Well,
we'll see. I think part of it is Brunson is he's just older and he's
yeah,
sturdier. You know, the physicality of Harper might wear on you, but like I don't know that it wears on Brunson the way it would wear on,
yeah,
Ant or even Shea, to be honest. Like Shea's kind of wiry. He's obviously taller, but he's not like super sturdy base. And if anybody's going to kind of withstand that, it's somebody like Brunson, who's East Coast guy. He's got the dog in him,
yeah.
and he's just not afraid of anybody, no matter how big and
I think he's got a high
athletic they are.
tolerance for pain too. And
Yeah,
well, Perk calls him Big Body Brunson.
yeah,
That's his favorite thing to say. The one weakness in Brunson's game, in my opinion, is he is so confident and to your point, physical and tough that he takes the challenge on, and sometimes it becomes about like I'm going to destroy my man as opposed to destroy the team. And so that's the
Mhm.
only time once in a while he'll flip back into that mindset, which is hard to argue. You don't want that in your alpha player, but that shows up sometimes, and he's mitigated that significantly this playoffs, which has been really really good to see because he can take us all the way. It's going to be incredible if he can actually lead us to the championship too, because everybody in New York is already lining up for all the pundits right now, right? So Becky Hammond's like number one on the list right now because
Yeah, yeah,
she's she's in for it after this one. We'll see
yeah.
how that goes.
Um, so 2-0 right now.
Yep.
Is this a four gamer, or are you thinking there's still going to be some fight here in the Spurs? How do
I,
you think this
I'm
series
assuming
ends?
I'm assuming there's fight. I think one of two outcomes happens in game three. I think it's either the Spurs let go of the rope and just, because Knicks come out and like push them really hard through the first half, or I think the Spurs could sneak one out, right? I think the whole series can change then too. Um, the thing that gives me confidence though is what you said about the championship mentality. Like everything I've seen is that the Knicks know the moment that they're in and they're going to take advantage of it and not let it slip away because they
Yeah,
play with their food too much during the regular season at times. I don't see them doing that in the playoffs.
yeah.
Is
If they win game three, I think they come out in game four and it's over.
yeah.
I think they're going to be so loose and ready to go and just win it in front of their home crowd. They
Yep.
could still do that with the gentlemen's, if they lose one in San Antonio, but they're a professional team who is playing
Yeah.
at a really high level. So,
Well,
um,
I don't know if it was the New Yorker or New York Times. There was an article that they published the other day, and the headline was Jalen Brunson is the reason that the New York Knicks forgot what it feels like to lose. And I was like, God, may someone say that about us at some point
yeah,
in our lives? Like 13-2 in the playoffs now. Is that right? No. Yeah, right. 14-2.
4-2, yeah,
14 and
4-0,
2.
4-0, yeah,
14-2 in the two games they lost by a combined 2 points.
yeah.
Like that's a pretty
It's a
incredible.
historic run. I mean, even considering, you know, maybe some of the, Sixers upset, they were a 7 seed. And
Yeah.
so you played the 6, the 7, and then the 4, but
Yep.
it's not just that you won. It's not that you won
Yeah.
4-2 in all of them. It's that you're completely dominating these series and a lot of people didn't think it could continue in the finals. And
Yep.
here they are up 2-0. And honestly, game one didn't play all that great and won by 10. And
Well, and it's easy to do revisionist history, but a lot of people were picking the Hawks to upset the Knicks.
yeah,
They're a tough matchup. Like they're a good team. They're a tough matchup. Their guards, their length, defensive prowess. the Sixers people were picking to upset the Knicks in certain instances, particularly because they just came off of beating the Celtics.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know if anyone took the Cavs seriously fully.
no, I don't think so either.
But the
Even
Spurs,
with a 20-point lead in game one, I think
oh, yeah.
you're right. Like you were there, but I was like, yeah, I don't think this one's over yet. You could just feel it. But the Spurs, the Spurs were different.
Spurs are a different animal, and they're not dominating them in the same way, but their defense has been incredible to hold that offense to what they hold it to.
Yeah. One of the things I meant to talk about this earlier, but just quickly before we jump here, but one of the things I think that Towns and the Knicks do really well on Wemby is I've seen a lot of teams guard him on the initial drive, and then when Wemby shoots, they turn and they let him go and he gets a tip in rebound. Like he gets a lot of baskets. And what I've noticed with the Knicks is Towns half the time isn't even trying to rebound. As soon as Wemby shoots it, he's just blocking him out and like making sure he can't get that quick tip that he gets a lot. And Robinson was doing it too. And actually they bring a lot of times another guy in.
Yep.
And that's where Josh Hart gets rebounds and OG gets rebounds. And like these other guys are getting boards because the big guys aren't worried about them getting rebounds. And that just goes again to that unselfishness. But I think that's one of the noticeable things I've seen is that they're really trying not to let him get his own rebound off a missed shot.
I saw one shot, a photograph that struck me where there was that happened where I think Wemby shot and Landry Shamet was just facing, Wemby getting in his way of getting the rebound just by being there. I think they send. Yeah. So you talk about Mike Brown. I think there's a lot of nuanced things Mike Brown is doing that are like really impacting the game too, because we don't talk about New York's defense enough. Like it's been really pretty incredible along the way. And OG and Mikal Bridges had ups and downs in defense, but OG's second team all defense this year. First time he's made all defense. First time I think he's an unbelievable defender. That's something we haven't seen a ton yet this series. He effectively guards Wemby. Like you can put OG on Wemby. So we haven't done like a small death lineup yet either. We can do that. There's a lot you can throw at it, but like the defense is what's unlocking a ton of this. And I think Brunson is considered like a liability, but I think his defense is holding up a little bit better. He had 5 steals in game 2.
Yeah.
So I think his defense is holding up a little bit better. And with the like long, rangy, athletic recovery, great help defense that they have right now, it allows Brunson to sort of float and like jump in passing lanes a little bit more versus just need to play his guy one-on-one. So that's been impressive. I do credit Mike Brown for like those kinds of schemes too.
I agree. I thought the same thing. I thought the Spurs would hunt Brunson and he would have a really hard time with Castle and Harper and De'Aaron Fox for that matter. But yeah, I think what they've been able to do is kind of disrupt any flow. And that's generally the other guy's defense, but, kind of starts with Towns and OG and Bridges for sure. Like those guys are just great defenders. Josh Hart just does all the little things. I mean, I just love him, but.
Well, I just, I love Josh Hart too. He, I saw a stat that said something like his 5 points, 6 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists game was like the first or something like that since Bill Russell in the finals or something. But
anytime your name is mentioned with Bill Russell, you're doing something right. Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
there it is. All right, man.
I'm gonna buy this year. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy for you. First of all, like very excited that you get to enjoy this finals run. It's been enjoyable. Playoffs so far, finals series. Looking forward to game 3. I got to let you have the last word on the Knicks tonight, man.
Well, thank you. I get 2 things to say. One is if the Knicks can pull this off, I hope it gives inspiration and hope for Minnesota fans that we can do this. And 2, I need this so that I don't have a summer of Giannis rumors also.
Oh, yeah.
That would be ideal.
Wolves
Although he's going to Minnesota anyway, isn't he?
No, yeah, we're already in the throes of that, but I don't think so. They don't have enough assets. So I'm on the anti-Giannis club as far as roster construction goes at this point with the Wolves. So we'll see what the summer brings. But the fact that the Wolves have to talk about offseason trades and you are enjoying the finals is
Yeah,
something we all hope we can enjoy someday as well.
it's nice. I hope we do. And hopefully I'll see you at Summer League too.
You definitely will. I'll be
Yeah.
there.
All right, cool.
Yep, for sure. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Of course.
All right, go Knicks.
All right, that's the show for today. Thanks to my guest, Nick Jezerian, for joining, talking about the Knicks and his experience as a Knicks fan in the NBA Finals. Knicks lead the series 2-0 at the time of this recording. We'll see if they can hold home court and win Game 3 and go up 3-0 on those San Antonio Spurs. Before I let you go, I do want to just quickly remind you, if you want to follow along on the podcast on social media, Splash City Podcast on Instagram and Facebook and Blue Sky, subscribe on YouTube, and of course, give us a follow on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. I'm your host, Steve Hartman, and this has been the Splash City Basketball Podcast.
Back in that bag again.